So fear is a tool. People use it. It's a weapon. We've all been there. Somebody's trying to control us, manipulate us. And it might be a relationship or a work situation, a job. And I'm going to tell you about what recently happened a few moons ago. And I was on a bike trip, and a friend of mine called while I was on my trip and said, and this happens to me a lot, he said, Darren, I need some help building some stuff up here on this farm. I've been here. It's an organic farm of sorts, and there's about 15 employees up there, and they all live up there, and it's pretty remote. And I really wasn't into it, but, he's an old friend of mine, and I thought, well, I'll just come up and help him get lined out on this. So I went up there. It took me a couple days to ride toward him, and then he met me at the bottom of this dirt road, and then we went up there and had a little chit-chat on the way up, and he was just kind of lying me out on what was going on up there and the way it was. And I hadn't been up to this place before. It was first time. And anyway, it seemed like it was going to be cool. His friend owned the property, and she pretty much ran the show, and she was the boss. So when I got up there, I got to meet her, and she was really nice to me, very friendly, and just right away offering, can I do your laundry for you? Can I, just all sorts of, come over for dinner, and just real friendly. And then I met the other employees who were all pretty cool. Basically, they all worked out in the garden. I'm just going to be there building a few things. It's really casual. There's some tips in here, okay? Have a little bit of cash put away. Have an out. This is my bike. That's my out. If you have a car, be packed up. Always be sort of packed up when you're on these kind of situations if you go to work in these remote places. I don't do this anymore. I did this as kind of a favor and, never do it again. But trust your gut instincts, and just if you feel something bad, then get out. The people that were up there, were a lot of them were sort of, I don't want to say desperate, but they didn't have cars. I don't have a car. I have a bike, right? But they were didn't seem like a lot of them had much, and at least they weren't homeless. They had a place to stay up there, and I think that's the deal. Is my friend's partner would invite people up that really didn't have much going on, and then give them a place to stay, feed them, and they'd work in the garden, which seemed like a pretty cool thing, I thought, anyway. And she had her a couple kids up there that also worked and stuff, and I believe they were in their 20s, and they helped out a lot. And they would run people to town. Really, nobody had a car except I think a couple people had a car, but out of all those 15 people, most of them were camping out, living in the dorm type situation, didn't have cars. Nobody had a bike. I was the only one with a bike. And I do know a few of them had come from just the local town, didn't have anything going on. I don't know if they were homeless or not, but it kind of seemed like that's what was happening. So, but my friend, who I've known for years, he said, hey, man, that sometimes things get a little crazy up here and these guys start drinking. So if you don't want to stay, like right in the camp area, you're welcome to just camp down by our house. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I'd camp down there. Anyway, so it's all good. After a couple of days, I started getting like the big brother vibe, from the upper management. And it just felt strange, It was like how they were treating people. A few times, we wanted to, or not just me, but a few people needed to get to town. And they would go down to town every few days, and they would offer, do you need us to pick up stuff for you? And they were really cool about that. They would stop and pick up stuff for you. And they'd say, what do you need to do? And that threw me off. It's like, well, who cares what you need to do, right? It's not like we're in the army or something here. And that threw me off. What do you need to do? And then I heard another one was, what do you need to get? What do you need to get? What do you need to do? And that kind of threw me off. It's like really none of your business, And then whatever, that kind of passed by. So one day I needed to get to town, and I thought, well, I'm going to ask for a ride into town. One of the other guys had a lumber truck or a truck. They were going to go get lumber. The sons always went into town with, whoever was going to go. So, I went down with a few other guys, and, everybody's got their cell phones doing their thing. But the thing is anywhere you go, the sons would be, with you. It seemed like they would always be listening to you or watching you. and then also texting. And then sure enough, they're like texting their mom. And I find this out later that they're texting like, what we're doing. And it was kind of weird. So blew that off too, got back up to camp, and I talked to my friend about it. Now, I want to tell you something. This is all dissolved right now, this place. So I feel comfortable talking about it. This is not happening up there anymore. And the powers that be are long gone and put in some places where they need to be. Anyway, so after these kind of feelings of people, I don't know, just feel like intrusion, I talked to my good friend who had been up there working for these people for a long time, especially the woman. And he said, yeah, I get, that's the way it is up here. You just kind of get used to it. And he goes, I want to get out of here too. He goes, I'm planning on getting out of here. And I go, well, God, you shouldn't invite me up here because this sucks. I don't like it up here this late. That's how I'm feeling, Yeah, so just fear-mongering is the main thing. Awareness. A lot of times we just get sucked up in it and we don't realize it's happening. And just like with the media, everything coming at us. So once you get away from it, you realize you don't have to live that way. And that's what got me out on the bike. So I realized I didn't have to live around constant, unnecessary fear. I've got fear, a healthy awareness of what's going on, but I'm not living in a deep, dark vibration of fear all the time. And I said, well, hey, let me get these things built for you, and then, I'm going to have to go. But I hate seeing you here. This person is kind of abusive, and asking where you are. And so I get back up there and to talk to him about that, and I can't get along with him. The lady just won't let us alone to talk alone. So that was like, okay, what the hell? We needed the time to kind of work things out. And anyway, so she was kind of paranoid and all this kind of stuff. So I felt, well, this is kind of a strange feeling now, like this person's really getting invasive. She just monitored everything. And there were cameras basically for the operation that was there. But, when you have cameras, some people that have cameras, they abuse those cameras and, watching everybody, checking on everybody all the time. So we get to kind of like the last couple days, and it gets a little bit worse. Like at nighttime, woman would start yelling and screaming at people. And I don't know who it was specifically. And then I walked up to take a shower. We've got a shower house that's over there. And I was going over to take a shower, and she saw me hear that and witness that. And she thought, oh, no, she was embarrassed. And then she got even more mad, and I think she was pretty tanked. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh, shit, this is getting out of control. This woman, saw me. Took a shower. I go back to my camp, and I'm kind of forgetting about it, listening to music with my earbuds. And then I hear some, beyond my earbuds, I hear this, Darren, hey. Darren, hey. And it's this woman in a rough voice, kind of a rough voice. And I said, yeah, hello. And she said, hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry. And, you're not going to leave, are you? We really like you up here. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not leaving. No worries. And I'm in my tent, right? She's outside. I don't even unzip my tent. And I'm thinking, great. This woman is doing this now. And then, so whatever, the next morning, she's like kind of back to normal again, kind of mean and yelling at people. And it's the next morning, she's not feeling good, like a monster. And so I was like, okay, I got to go. I'm out of here. I don't feel comfortable with this person. And she also witnessed me or saw me witness, her being abusive in a way. And I told him, after a couple days of this is enough. And we had a long talk about it. So I said, I'll be out in a couple of days. Give me a couple more days. This is kind of my thing. And here's my tip. This is my tip in this is, number one, have a bike. This is my horse, right? I can get away from anywhere. And but I didn't say I was leaving that night. I basically just got packed up in my tent. Like I always am pretty, my other tip is always be ready, right? Keep everything packed up. So I was all ready, and I got up about, like 1:30 in the morning. That next morning, left a note and took off. And then the next morning, as I'm like down on the highway, she passed by in her van and then honks. And I'm all loaded up and everything. And I thought, oh, man. And then so I called my friend, and he said, oh, yeah, she was all mad you left and everything. And yeah, I said, yeah, she honked at me when she went by. So I was really worried he was really going to have a hard time after this. But I had to leave. And I just found out yesterday he's left there, and or he's given notice or something, but he's left that property. But those upper management people are all gone, and that lady. And so he felt comfortable just letting me know, hey, man, make the video, and hey, please like and subscribe. And I thought I'd share this one with you because the tips are, again, have an out, and that's the main thing. Have your out. Again, back to those tips. Thank you.